Hello everybody, welcome to episode 4 of Farscape Rewatch podcast. I am your host, CantWearHats, and joining me as usual is RedNightmare.
Hello, I jumped the gun there, sorry.
That's okay, no need to stand on ceremony.
It's not like there's kings here.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because this is episode 4, and the episode is Throne for a Loss. Thrones, kings, you can probably guess who this episode is featuring heavily.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is, like I said, episode 4, and it is Rigel focused, our favourite puppet. Sort of. It centres around it's all Rigel's fault, is what I'm saying.
Fair.
Alright, well, without further ado, let's get into what actually happened. So we start out with, well, a CGI shot of a shuttle coming in towards Moya. It's not just any shuttle though, because we learn that a group of Tavleks,
which is mispronounced thoroughly throughout the episode.
Yeah, it's Tavleks.
Not tabloids.
Tavleks are on their way to Moya, and the crew are trying to cut a deal with them to carry some of their cargo for a bit of cash, because you know they're still a bit strapped for cash, as it were. And Rigel has decided that he's going to negotiate,
and he wants to really sell how grand and royal he is. So
he's bigging himself up in, you know, typical Rigel fashion. Like, I'm dominated 600 billion people, I should be doing this. They'll be impressed by me. And Crichton and Aaron are walking down towards the transport hangar. He's like, no, don't take a gun, that'll look bad. You don't want to go all John Wayne on them. And
who's John Wayne?
And I love this about Crichton, is that he does not accept that they don't know who John Wayne is. It's just like, you know, from the films. It's like, John, this is the aliens, man. It's like, Kung Fu wouldn't have carried a gun.
What I really like is he starts going down a few movies. True Grit, a few other movies, and then he mentions apparently a bad John Wayne movies, like, you know, forget that last one. Everybody has a bad movie.
No. This is an infamous one. John refers to the film, not by name, but it's the 1956 film The Conqueror, where John Wayne did indeed play Genghis Khan.
Oh, right, Genghis Khan. That's what he said.
Yeah. He's like, you know what?
Forget Genghis Khan. Everybody has a bad movie.
Yeah, the very much still with an American accent John Wayne plays Genghis Khan. What's the infamous line? It's like, you're beautiful in your wrath. It's like, this is a Mongolian. That was, in case you were wondering, yes, that is a real film. That really happened.
I assume that was a real film.
So yeah. So they make it to the hangar, of course, and the Tavleks board, and things, you know, don't quite go how we're expecting.
It's an ambush, pretty much.
They turn up, just draw their guns immediately, and kidnap Rigel. Actually,
in a very cool fight scene, might I add.
Yeah.
And especially the music is like, yeah, rock, out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're dressed in kind of foam power armor, really.
Yeah.
They've got like some bracelet things that fire bolts of energy at the crew of Moya, which will become relevant later.
Quite quickly, actually.
So they manage to get away with Rigel, but one of the Tavleks gets left behind. They manage to trap him on the ship.
John actually knocks him out with a wrench. It's like, hey, Asa, back!
After everyone else has been having some trouble, John's like, all right, we'll do this the Earth way. Hit him with a wrench. So then Crichton obviously wants Pilot to go after the shuttle with Rigel in it. But Dargo says, no, it's Rigel's fault, and let's get out of here. Actually, screw that guy.
He's actually being very aggressive about that, because...
Dargo being aggressive?
No, because during the fight, as John knocks out the tabloid...
Tavlek.
Sorry, Tavlek. His wrist weapon comes loose, and Dargo grabs it, puts it on us, tries to use it. It doesn't work. When it's open, you can see that there are needles sticking in his arm.
Yeah, and there's like a little container of what looks to be fluid on the outside of it. Yeah, so Dargo is actually acting more aggressive than usual, saying, "Screw Rigel, we're out of here," which is not out of character, but
that's not out of character.
But he's being very aggressive about it, and he actually then chucks an enormous barrel right across the room. And the crew thinks, "Oh, something's up."
Uh-oh, that's not supposed to happen.
Then Dargo summarily just decides that he's in charge and knocks everyone the F out.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, "I'm taking charge," and he tries to walk away, and they're all three look at each other and like, "Okay, we grab him." He just knocks them out, all three, with one swing.
Yeah, so this is not going well.
No.
Zhaan then goes to wake up the Tavlek who got left behind and is asking him, "What's the gauntlet doing?"
How do we stop it?
And it turns out that the gauntlet is injecting Dargo with a stimulant, but it can only be taken off if you're knocked unconscious.
Yes. That's actually very useful because you don't want your enemy trying to cut off your arm while it's trying to disarm you. And I've seen how incredibly aggressive these species are. I think that would be a perfect tactic for their likes.
I mean, you've played Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. You know this happens all the time.
I was gonna say, I would have been like, "No, you can't just disarm me like that."
And funnily enough, John makes the pun of, "Yeah, you can disarm them without disarming them."
It's like,
I can only hope that didn't translate properly because nobody puts out the appropriate groan. So they're trying to figure out if they can actually knock Dargo out because, he's a big Luxon, and that's not going to be an easy guy to knock out at the best of times. And he's got
especially seeing how he can actually throw up shields with the gauntlet.
Yeah, but Zhaan says she can make up some sleep mist out of her bunch of files and jars of miscellaneous fluid.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically an alchemist, really.
Because why not? She's a scientist, she's a priest, she's an alchemist.
She's multi-classing, is what's happening here. But then, Pilot gets the transmission from the planet, because the Tavleks have their leader, Bakesh, who wants to talk. And, surprise, surprise, he's ransoming Rigel.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and the crew has one day, or their king, as he says, because that's how Rigel was hyping himself up to them previously to get them to give them a good deal. But he says, one day or your king dies.
They basically say, look, your king has 600 billion subjects. You should be able to pop up a small cargo hold.
Yeah, we'll have a whip round, get some money out of them. No, they want
grade 9 general science fiction fluid.
Yeah, they want some form of material that is, science fiction,
named
precious metal or whatever it is, enough to fill a big cargo hold. That should be easy enough to do, right?
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not like you're just a small, lonely ship with escaped convicts. That would be bullshit. Awkward.
So, yeah, they're left with that problem to solve. But then Crichton and Aaron have to go and take down Dargo because he's got to command and is basically trying to take over the ship, as we said.
Yeah.
Zhaan has actually made up the sleep mist basically into a water balloon. Aaron says to John, "You're going to throw that at him. You, basically, a useless human."
Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, sure. Kindergarten. I've done this before."
Yeah, he actually said, "I grew up with this stuff." Throwing water balloons at people. And actually it works because have some faith in John. He has a good arm. He throws it well, and
the arm is just fine. The sleep mist.
Yeah, because he throws it at Dargo's feet, and it looks like it's working. But maybe they should have taken into account the fact that he's actually being injected with a stimulant, because we have a close up of the armband with the fluid sort of being drained a little bit, and then Dargo starts to get up again.
It's like, nothing can ever be easy. Damn it.
So they have to run away, and they enlist the help of Pilot to build up some pressure in the ship, because Moya needs to vent some gases or fluid or something.
And John's like, no, build it up.
And both Pilot and Aaron are like, what? Excuse me?
No, I've got a plan. Trust me into this.
Yep. His plan is it's brilliant in its stupidity.
What I really like is that we then cut to Zhaan, who has just revived the child warrior. Basically, he tries to attack her. She knocks him out with the best line ever, because he insults her of being like, "You're soft and weak." She dodges, knocks him out, and says, "Soft yes, weak no."
It's like, what? Come at me, bro.
God.
What?
Like,
deal with it.
badass Zhaan right here.
It's like, yeah.
And then Pilot says, like, you should probably brace yourself. Why? Because John has a plan. And she swears in her own language. It's like she says something like, that's probably a swear.
It's like, yes, John has a plan is not a sentence you want to hear.
Apparently not. 4 episodes in, they've already learned that.
So yeah, they lure Dargo into an empty room, John and Aaron, and then John tells Pilot to release the pressure, which shakes the ship, and basically Dargo falls over.
Yeah, he just gets knocked straight into a console.
And manages to knock himself out. So, success! The plan worked!
Yay! Gauntlet comes off.
I also like that at no point does John actually explain what his plan is. He
No,
just
of course
says,
not.
build up the pressure and then release it. So, Aaron has no idea what's going on. And her reaction to, like, wait, that was your plan?
It worked, didn't it?
To hope he falls over. That was your plan.
And he's like, next time you get to make the plan.
But yeah, the gauntlets come off. So yay, success. But that's only one of the problems they have to deal with. Because now we go to where Rigel is. He's locked up. He's in a prison cell. In mud, as it turns out. Like he's buried halfway up to his chest in mud.
Which is incredibly convenient if you're a puppet.
Yeah. Very much
It's
so.
like, gee, why would they have done... Oh, of course.
Also, interestingly, going back, this might even be a callback to IET when he says that he actually really hates mud because he's aquatic, and it's either on land or on water, not halfway in between, because you can't move, you can't breathe in it. So they, encase him in, can't swim in it, and you encase him in mud, you can't get away.
Oh, I never thought about that actually.
I don't know if that was intentional, but it could very well be. I just thought that might be a nice little detail. But yeah, he's incarcerated, waiting for him to take the ransom, and he's not alone. This is my favorite part.
I love this.
He's in jail with what appears to be Cthulhu.
You're right. You're actually right. That is indeed looks like Cthulhu.
Speaking of puppets, there's a green squid person with a head and tentacles, and like lots and lots of tentacles.
Yeah. 2 big red glowing eyes.
Yeah, it's actually a very impressive puppet, but it's like
it was really nice design.
But it's Cthulhu. I mean, it's not. His name is Jotheb from the Consortium of Trow, and so it sounds like that the Tavleks have made a business kidnapping kings and royalty, and then ransoming them back to their people.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't their first rodeo.
They've been doing this before. They know how this goes.
I also wanted to point something else out as well, that a bit of costuming detail, because we said that the Tavleks in general look like they've got kind of, it's supposed to be power armor or like armor that looks like it's out of Fallout, basically, but it's made out of foam rubber, because this is a kind of, they got to save budget somewhere. But
I mean, they look pretty cool.
They actually look pretty good. But Bekesh, he's got a unique design because the entire, basically top half of his head, all the way down to around his eyeballs, is metal. Yeah,
it's some sort of metal cap that encases his entire upper head, as you said.
And it like stops just above his nose. And it's like
you can't actually, you can't see his eyes.
Yeah,
He's probably completely blind.
And he's got kind of like a stitched up face, like it's been scarred. Which is common to the rest of the Tavleks, because the one back on Moya has got a similar kind of scarred and misshapen face. I just thought that was like a really unique kind of design that I haven't actually seen too often.
It's a design that what I like is that it's a design that echoes brutality. This is probably what the tabloids do, pretty much.
Tavleks.
Sorry. What the Tavleks do, pretty much. They are a very warrior-like butchery species.
But back on Moya, as if we didn't have enough problems, Moya is actually losing orbit and can't move.
Sorry, why?
Well, back at the opening scene, Rigel was getting ready. He was putting on his best face to impress the Tavleks, and he had like a scepter with like a red jewel in the middle of it. Do you know what that was?
I don't know. Family heritage?
Nope, that was a vital control crystal from Moya. Because Pilot says Rigel asked if he could borrow it. And of course, Pilot said no, because we need that. And then he took it anyway.
Yeah, that's...
to decorate his scepter to look good.
Rigel in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen.
Just like, Rigel, I know you're trying to bling yourself up, but good God, man.
I kind of want to start a second counter right here.
It's like, God damn it, Rigel.
It's... You know what? Actually, yeah.
Let's do it. God damn it.
This is going to be a fast one, ladies and gentlemen. This is one that's going to
we might have to add some
times the episode. Probably.
We might have to add some retrospectively. But at the very minimum, that's number one. This may be subject to change.
Yes. We'll start with one, and in like a few weeks we'll be up a bit more.
So like, I don't know, a couple hundred.
Probably.
So yeah, much as some of them may want to leave Rigel behind, they actually can't because they have to go get him, not just to get him back, but to get the crystal back so that Moya can actually leave. And we check in with the rest of the crew, and Dargo is still asleep from the effects of the stimulant. He got knocked. He's basically out cold for a while.
He's probably got the biggest hangover in his life.
Yep. Eren is formulating a plan to go down to the planet to get the crystal back.
John's like, oh no, let me guess. Lead a small commando raid to retake the position and get Rigel out of there.
And she doesn't say no.
She's like,
are you coming?
Do you have a better plan?
Yeah, she's like, are you coming? Like, well, no, that's a terrible idea. And so she punches him out.
Yeah. It's like, she walks up to him, wham!
It's like there's a theme of people getting knocked out in this episode so far.
What I really love is that she knocks him out, and we straight cut to in her prowler as she's behind the wheel, just flying, and then John's lying there unconscious in the back, and then suddenly wakes up. Or he could negotiate with them.
Yeah, it's like
just keeps going with his story from where he left.
It's that classic bit of, gets knocked out mid-sentence and wakes up and continues the same sentence.
And he's like, you knocked me out.
She's like, no, it was it was a precise strike to, make you unconscious for a certain amount of time. It's like, you hit me! Stop punching me!
I love what she then does. She's like, meh.
Well, I like the back and forth, which is...
once all this is done, we're going to have a long, hard talk.
And she says, well, once this is done, we'll probably both be dead. It's like, a little optimism, come on.
Come on, I mean, let's assume you have a good plan.
Meanwhile, though, Zhaan is still with the boy, or the young Tzatziki. Sorry, Tavlek. But she gives, she's removed his armor and stuff, because actually in the previous scene we've seen what looks to be Eren is wearing at least some of it.
Yeah.
So they've quite clearly taken that for a disguise. So he's without his armor and is just wearing like a shawl or like a blanket of something. And she gives him Crichton's spacesuit to try and cover up. He seems to think that Zhaan just wants to see him naked. So he flashes her.
She's like, her literal words are quite respectable for your age. It's like, wow.
Whoa.
Sick bird.
Let him down gently, why don't you?
But I really like that she's like, are you trying to shock me? Is nudity like a taboo in your culture?
Yeah, and she just takes her clothes off.
No, actually, he says, are you so embarrassed of your body that you feel you need to hide it? And he's like, oh, especially if we'd look like you. And then she takes her clothes off.
Yep.
Like, I doubt it. We see Zhaan from the back, completely blue, like props on the
this is
makeup department. It's like they go even further than we've seen before.
This is the second time we've basically seen Zhaan naked from behind. Because in the pilot episode we saw her sort of meditating, sat down in the cross-legged position. Now she's just standing up. Like,
he's completely lost his tongue. I think he just saw something that he'll probably never forget.
And like you said, like the makeup just goes head to toe blue, and just detailed, and just that must have taken a long time.
Yeah. Props to Virginia Hay for sticking that one out.
And before we can go any further with this scene, Dargo is awake, and he wants to actually be useful. So she has to go and help him out because he's still kind of hungover, basically.
I like as she leaves the cell, she asks, like, Do you require food? Are you hungry? And it's like, no.
So yeah, Dargo is kind of stumbling around the control, trying to be useful. And we cut back to the planet, because Crichton and Aaron have found a Tavlek hunting party.
Ah.
And Aaron is indeed dressed in the armour of the Tavleks, which conveniently covers their entire face.
Ah, stormtrooper armor. Always
Hey.
reliable.
And so Aaron has decided that she needs to force them to tell her where Rigel is.
Yeah.
So she puts the gauntlet on.
Because that worked so great last time.
And John's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
What? No, we're not doing this. And she's like, no, it's fine. I'll use it. I'll make sure that they tell me where the camp is, and then I'll just come right back.
And she actually gives John a thing to knock her out. She gives him a little injector gun. So it's like,
Yep.
when I come back, use this on me, knock me out, and then, take the thing off. So yeah, she puts the gauntlet on, puts the helmet on, and goes to try and force the Tavleks to tell them where Rigel is. Mm-hmm. And John is sort of covering her from behind with... He's got what are called oculars, which are kind of like Peacekeeper binoculars, except they just clip onto the head and zoom in somehow.
Magically. They give you space eyes.
Space eyes!
Space eyes!
And then... Oh god. Then it all starts going wrong, because of course it does. They don't believe her. So John tries to cover her. And... because Aaron didn't think to tell him how, or he never said, wait, I don't know how to use this gun.
Mind explaining that to me?
He manages to overload the gun and it self-destructs.
He basically blows up the only gun they had.
So good job, John. Good job.
She comes back and she asks, like, where's the rifle? All over the place.
Yeah, because John blowing up the rifle causes a distraction which allows Aaron to get away.
Yeah.
So, yay! Helping! Teamwork!
It only cost us a rifle.
Yeah. Like he critical failed on his,
Use tech rolls. Like, what does this button do? Uh-oh.
And from the ship, Dargo says, are you sure these sensors are working properly? I thought I saw an explosion. And Pilot's like, yeah, no, that's correct.
It's like, okay, fine. Prep the shuttle.
I'm going down there.
Clearly need my help.
Gotta go bail these assholes out. And then we're back with Zhaan and the Tavlek boy, and she's entering his cell to try and give him some aid, and he attacks her. He just straight up is like, no!
She just basically just overpowers him quite easily.
Again, she's just like, no reaction, just... He digs his finger into her arm, which makes her bleed. Funnily enough, she actually bleeds white.
Uh-huh.
And she's just still got this calm expression on her face of like, you what, mate?
I like that she actually uses the blood, and apparently what's a remedy, because part of the reason he's attacking her, it's not entirely his fault, is because he's having
he's having rather severe withdrawal symptoms from the stimulant in the gauntlet.
And she basically just apparently makes some sort of concoction. She rubs on her lips, then she straight kisses him, which relieves apparently the symptoms, then puts a hand on his chest that relieves the pain, because as we've learned,
yep,
she can do that.
Yeah, that's something we have already seen. The kiss is a little weird.
Yeah, it's like you could have just put that on his mouth, I guess, but
I think, she's very clearly trying to get past his indoctrination. So she's, doing things that are out of his comfort zone. He's sort of like, very confused.
Gotta go back to my bunk again.
But yeah, she's eased his pain as well, which he's being confused by compassion, I think, is what's really happening here. Which we've seen before with Aaron, who used to be a similar kind of warlike person. And speaking of Aaron, turns out the plan to take the gauntlet off of Aaron, guess what? It doesn't go well.
No, really? The gauntlet, actually, she doesn't want to take the gauntlet off?
Yeah, the gauntlet that makes you angry and, very defensive and aggressive. You don't want to take it off?
There's no precedent for this at all.
I could not have seen this coming. So yeah, she doesn't want Crichton to take it off, and she attacks him.
Yep. It's Dargo all over again.
And then Dargo arrives on the scene as the cavalry. Then she basically pins Dargo to the ground because she's at this point broken the medical injector with the knockout stuff in it. And Dargo flicks his tongue at her, which knocks her out.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that's the thing he can do, right?
Yeah, because we saw that in the first episode where he knocks Crichton out with his, like, frankly, ridiculously long projectile tongue, basically. And so she goes unconscious, and they can get the gauntlet off. So, hey, success.
I like how John's like, that's a very heavy blanket you have there, Dargo.
It's like, very heavy.
Help me get this off.
So, meanwhile, Rigel and Jotheb have been sort of talking back and forth in their cell while all this has been going on. And when they introduce each other, it turns out that neither of them, who have huge empires, have heard of each other.
Yeah.
And you have that bit of one-upmanship where Rigel says, like, how many people in your empire? And he's like, 10,000. He's like, ha! I've got 600 billion!
Then the other, Joseph counters like, oh, no, 10,000 planets.
Each with about 4 billion people on them. He's like, oh, I see.
At some point, Rigel starts, of course, insulting guards. So when they bring him his food, they bring him a skull. And I think it's that time of the episode again where we go, oh my god, the Jim Henson company. Yeah. Where Rigel's reaction to seeing that it's a skull, his sheer shock. Oh, I got so giddy about that one.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that was good puppetry.
Yeah, because you have kind of, well, two types of puppetry between Jotheb and Rigel, because Jotheb is like a big creature with lots of limbs, but not a very detailed face or expressions. He basically has one static head with tentacles, but still able to, look effective. But Rigel has like so many expressions, and the control of his face is just really detailed, and you really believe in his expressions, and it works so well. It's so good.
Oh god, I love that. That's probably my favorite part of the episode. Just that facial expression.
But Rigel is trying to get his way as well, because he complains that he's been served food in a skull.
Yep.
He's like, how dare you serve this to me? And Bakesh comes back in, and he's like, oh, I am terribly sorry. Takes it away, and just pours liquid food into
the cell, just right in front of Rigel. It's like, here you go, your eminence.
And then we have another Rigel bit of, he's looking at this sort of dirty, muddy stuff in front of him that's been covered with his food. And he's like, I really shouldn't eat this. I should. And then he's looking at his finger with a bit of, I was like, I shouldn't.
And then he realizes, like, wait, actually, he starts rubbing all that food around him.
Because, he's realised that actually by pouring all the liquid into his cell, he's loosened up the mud, and he might be able to break free.
Yep.
And get out through the little grate where they send the food in. And he actually asks for Jotheb's help because he sends a tentacle around into Rigel's cell.
Basically just grabs him around the neck, starts pulling.
He starts pulling him up by the neck. And Rigel says, maybe the neck wasn't the best choice, the best place. But he does actually manage to get free and get out, about halfway out through the grate, when Bakesh turns up and notices this escape attempt and stomps on his throat.
He actually straight kills him.
Yeah.
Rigel is dead. That's the end we see of Rigel in the series.
Well, you say that. Spoilers, he doesn't actually die forever. But there's the scene where you see him stomping on Rigel's neck, and again, the puppet work is really effective because it's horrifying.
Yeah.
You see a pained expression on Rigel's face as his windpipe is crushed.
He just goes limp.
Damn.
He killed the man.
But then Jotheb says, wait, because at this point, they've basically realised that no one is coming to pay for Rigel. His time is almost up. But Jotheb says that, wait, my people are coming to get me, and they'll also pay Rigel's ransom. So you'll get money from my consortium. And Jotheb sends another tentacle round and revives Rigel somehow.
Basically, apparently his race can bring people back to life.
I'm telling you, it's Cthulhu. I'm telling you. And so Rigel is revived and goes back inside the prison cell to await the arrival of Jotheb's people. And then Rigel is like, oh, you idiot. I was a Dominar, not anymore.
No, because that's not... I love the beauty of it. That Jotheb is like, you're welcome to join the consortium. Rigel's like, thanks for the invitation. It's not an invitation. I own you now. That's how that works. If I bring you back to life, your life is mine. And I kind of love that culturally. It's like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that making sense. I mean, you're alive because of me, so you better put that life in service of me.
Yeah, and, you know, I own you, and I think he says I own everything that you own by proxy.
Yeah.
You know, your 600 billion subjects. He's like, have I got news for you, buddy? I haven't got squat. He's like, I was deposed 100 years ago.
100 cycles.
100 cycles ago. I misspoke. It's just a ship full of escaped prisoners and him. Nothing else. And Joseph is quite pissed off at this.
He's mad. Mad salty. And then he devours the world. Wait, no, sorry.
No. Calm down, H.P. Lovecraft. Settle down. Okay, so it's nearing the point in the episode where, alright, we've got to get Rigel out of there now.
Yeah.
And, oh god, I love this bit. They find the Tavlet camp. Everyone is asleep.
Yeah, did you have as much problems with that as I did?
Yeah, because, it's nap time. Everyone's asleep?
I mean, aside from the obvious, like, wait, you don't have guards, you goddamn fucking idiots?
John says, you know, we have to do this secretly, no one has to discover us. And then they just fucking walk in there.
Like, let's wind back a bit, because there's a scene in right before that I really, really, really want to talk about.
Oh, yeah, no, we should definitely talk about that scene, because...
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because at this point, I have this marked down too. At this point, both Aaron and Dargo are kind of feeling the after effects of the gauntlet, but Dargo he's had a few more hours to deal with it, but Aaron is basically useless at the moment.
Yep.
She's out cold. Well, she's not quite. She's waking up and is really not well enough.
Again, worst hangover of her life.
Yep. And so she's arguing with Dargo. He's like, well, you called me a coward. You said I was a barbarian. It's like, well, you are. And John has to step in and basically as the mediator to be like, hey, kids, play nice.
It's like, it's the gauntlet mate, you said those things. You didn't mean any of it. They're both like, yes, we did.
And then John has a great line where he says, did you mean what you did as well? And it's like, when you attacked everyone, and that kind of makes them rethink things a little bit.
Yeah. And if you meant what you said, you might want to consider therapy.
I think that goes for everyone on that ship, you know.
Most definitely. John's probably the most sane person around there, and that's saying a lot.
That ain't gonna...
Wait, no, actually, Zhaan.
Zhaan, yeah.
Yeah. Zhaan is the most straight-thinking person out there.
With the possible exception of Pilot, but...
Yeah, I was also thinking of Pilot.
There's a couple of sane people on that ship, is what we're saying. One or two.
Dargo and Aaron are not one of them.
But yeah, like, I did like that of John actually being the voice of reason and being like, me and Dargo are going to do this because you're not at your full strength, Aaron, and, you know, trying to settle the dispute between the two of them.
Yeah, and he's like, but what do I do if something goes wrong? Well, you provide us cover or something. What, the gauntlet? No, and Dargo presents his sword.
Aaron is like, oh great, a sword, thanks. That's going to be great.
And probably my second favorite scene of this episode, he starts finicking with it, and it turns out it's a gun blade!
It's a gun sword!
It's a gun sword! It's a sword that is also a gun.
I think he's been playing Bloodborne.
Probably.
It's his weapon. It's his weapon transformation. Like, yep. It's actually like an involved process to unhook the. And there's a little bit of movie magic in this because most of the fiddling with it is done while it's sort of pointing out of screen, off camera, and so then it comes back up as like a fully extended because the blade kind of splits into along its length and sort of comes apart. There's like a barrel in between.
And grip basically twists like 50 degrees to form a handle.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, but it's quite clear they have two separate props.
Yeah. There's also what I also like. There's two things about what I really like about this sword reveal. One, it's like Peacekeeper intelligence distribution is crap.
Yeah.
It's very clear Aaron doesn't know this about Luxons.
Yeah, I think the impression I've got of the Peacekeepers is that their roles are all very specialized. So Aaron doesn't know about that because she doesn't need to know.
Which is kind of bullshit, because if you ever send her after a Luxon, which pretty much she did, she might have wanted to know that that sword is also a gun.
I mean, she's a Prowler pilot, so I would assume mostly engaged in space combat. But
Yeah, okay, you're a good point, actually. Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, it does seem to be a little bit of a lapse in knowledge.
Also, this confirms my theory from the first episode that sword is blunt as hell. Because apparently you can just hold it on the blade to steady your aim without it slicing straight through your hand.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing.
I know, but it's like the sword form isn't very functional, is it?
I mean, it's less of a gun sword, more of a gun club.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no, it's a really cool looking weapon, I have to admit.
Oh yeah,
it looks pretty neat.
I agree with that.
So Dargo gives it to Aaron to provide cover as he and Crichton just walk into the Tavlek base where everyone has decided it's nap time.
Like
they've got
as
some milk and cookies, and they're all just past that. They're all asleep.
And like, one, apparently you don't post guards. Two, I would expect that the fact that you guys have these arm wrists that apparently push stimulants into your blood veins would keep you awake.
Well, here's the other thing. I think somebody should introduce the concept of guard rotation to the Tavlek.
Exactly.
Do you know what a shift is?
Look, guys. I know you don't do management very well, but there's such a thing as shifted work, so you can keep something going 24 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, I just can't get. Everyone fell asleep. Like, that's the laziest out I think I've ever seen. But I mean, I will give them credit that getting in is relatively easy. So they walk in. They don't even bother to sneak and hide behind boxes. They just walk through the middle of the compound.
Yep.
And find the prison, which is apparently not locked, because they go inside, and Jotheb is there. But guess who's not there?
Rigel.
Rigel's not there. Rigel's gone. His scepter is there though. But guess what's not in the scepter?
The crystal.
The crystal. Because nothing's ever simple.
I also like Zhaan coming in. He accidentally steps on one of the tentacles of Jotheb. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he looks in the cage and he says to Dargo, "Hey, Dargo, check out the critter." And both Dargo and Jotheb are like, "Critter? What the fuck are you talking about?"
It's a critter. Seriously, critter?
That's a person, you asshat.
Yeah, that's a sentient being, you dick. And he's like, right, yeah, sorry, my bad.
They find out that Rigel's not there, and then Jotheb tells him, like, "Oh yeah, I heard. They're, due to my mistakes, they think that I'm
gonna pay for him."
Yeah, so they took him away. Oh, well, we better get going then. Oh, wait, sorry, we'll help you out first. And he's like, no, that's fine. They're paying my ransom, so I'll just wait for 2 days.
Yeah, Jotheb is perfectly fine to just chill in his cell for a couple of days.
I like that Zhaan doesn't try to be the hero, like, no, I will save you. It's like, okay, well, thanks for the help and good luck.
I almost half expected him to look at his watch and be like, yeah, no shit, he's right, we gotta go.
With that being the last time we see Jotheb, can we briefly talk about how I love the way they portray his culture in the few lines of dialogue that he has? Because there's that bit where we learn that if you revive somebody in his culture, their life is yours.
Yep.
There's also certain manners of speaking that he uses. In the beginning, when Rigel says he's never heard of it, Jotheb says, like, the imperfection is yours. That's a beautiful turn of phrase.
Yeah, but that basically means your loss.
Yeah, I know. The way he says it, the way his words come out, it's not just he's talking, they actually made some interesting sentences for him to say, which I really like because it sold the culture a lot more. This is an alien creature. Not only in appearance, but also in culture and speech. Yeah,
they did a good job of making him very alien, as you said. I actually quite like Jotheb in this. I don't know if he comes back, but I like him as
I wouldn't expect him to come back.
I mean, they've got that puppet lying around.
I actually think it's not that difficult to... It's actually a suit, I'm pretty sure of. It's not a puppet.
There probably is someone inside it now that you mention it.
You can very clearly notice it when Jotheb starts slamming the wall between them. When I noticed, like, wait a second, that's not a puppet, that's a person in there.
Yeah, when he finds out that Rigel actually doesn't have anything.
Yeah, so, and because he's mostly in the shadows, I wouldn't expect the props. It's probably his arms, a little bit of his torso, and his face. That's probably it. Everything below is probably not.
Yeah, I would assume...
somebody in a dark black cloak.
Yeah, I would assume his head has some puppetry in it to operate the eyes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I thought he was a good side character in this episode. Mm-hmm. So while this has been going on, we've had some more scenes with Zhaan and the Tavlek out on Moya. and he's a bit recalcitrant, and he's wondering how Zhaan managed to take away the pain. She says that she's a 9th level Delvian Pa'u.
Bao priest, I think.
Pa'u
she
priest,
said.
yeah.
So that got me thinking, what can priests or clerics in Dungeons & Dragons actually do? So let's have a look. I have the 5th player's handbook here with me, so let's see what falls under Zhaan's abilities. Give me a moment to look this up here. She's able to cast 5th level spells at maximum.
Sounds about right.
She's apparently able to destroy undead at that point. And she's had a few features of her domain, which I'm expecting is to be life. So let's see if there's anything interesting in there.
I mean, we did say that the opening, or the first couple of episodes, did feel a little bit like a D&D adventure.
So we're basically just jumping into the rules text.
What I'm saying is Farscape RPG system.
Yes,
please, Gib.
I would be very much surprised if it doesn't exist. She's apparently a disciple of life and a blessed healer.
Yeah, this sounds
very good at healing. Oh, divine strike. That also seems appropriate with her combat skills. She's proficient in heavy armor. I think she's not using that feature. So it's pretty impressive.
Turns out there is indeed a Farscape role-playing game.
Told you.
Published by Alderac Entertainment Group. And it's fully compatible with the D20 system published by Wizards of the Coast.
Nice.
So if you go to alderac.com/Farscape, you can find more information. That's ALDERAC.com. So who knows, maybe run some Farscape games for your local game group. Yeah, if you do, actually, let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I'd be really interested how that ends up.
But yeah, she's a 9th level Delvian Pa'u priest.
I'm hoping that as the series continues, we learn that she's leveled up at some point.
Yeah. Funny enough, the Tavlek boys, he's still not really fully accepting of all of this because she's trying to get him off drugs. I mean, it's.
I hadn't even realized that.
I mean, she says now that you don't have this poison in you, and he smashes the food away. It's like the only poison is this bloody awful food you're feeding me. It's very much like an anti-drug kind of thing that she's.
Yeah, I hadn't actually realized that. That's pretty on the nose now that you point it out.
Yeah, she's like, no, I can take away the pain. You're having withdrawal symptoms. And she, is trying to tell him that you don't need this drug. And he's like, well, yeah, I do. It's what my culture, it's what we do. We get it clamped onto us and we can all be...
We can do so many great things with it.
And she's like, well, what can you do as yourself? But it's not really getting through to him. But she's trying to, make him into something better than what he is. She's
really trying to make him see his own worth, I think.
Yeah, I actually really like that, even though it's not working.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zhaan is a really, really interesting character.
I've really, with the risk of going back to D&D again, she's very much a pacifistic character. She's always trying to do the right thing.
She's a pacifist for the most part. We'll come to that.
Fair enough.
We'll come to that in a sec. But anyway, back on the planet, all the gods have woken up basically. Nap time's over.
Apparently,
the alarm clock
bends.
Yeah,
and he's like, 5 more minutes.
I just wanted there to be a shot of 2 guards spooning in the corner. Wake up and just be like, oh, that was a good nap, Derek. He's like, yeah, I know. But they've woken up and they're like, oh, wait, there are people here. We should actually do our jobs, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
And so Dargo and John have to make a hasty retreat. And
with Erin covering fire.
Yeah, and she's got the gun working because there's a bit of dramatic tension where Dargo gives her the gun in the previous scene and says, here you go, here, that'll cover you. And she's like, well, is it charged? She said, well, it should be. So it was charged when they captured it. It's like, well, how long ago was that? Oh, 8 cycles.
8 years.
Yeah, it's been in storage for 8 years. But apparently it can hold a charge for 8 years, so there you go.
Yeah, decent battery life.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So she provides covering fire, and John and Dargo get away, but Dargo gets hit.
Oh, no! But he's fine. He walks on.
No, not really.
Yeah, he walks on after being hit, but then when he arrives at Erin and John, who are in the forest, and she says, it's a very impressive weapon. And he's like, I request that you bury me with it.
And then falls face first.
Can I just say, actually, that escape scene like very cool shot. All the explosions from the gun,
yeah.
parts of the terrain falling down. It was a very it's only a few. It's like 30 seconds long. But damn, those were some very good 30 seconds.
Yeah, very effective and very sort of action-packed. And yeah, you see bits of there's arches falling down, people getting thrown over by explosions, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's great.
But yeah, Dargo has been shot in the back, and he asks, "What color is the blood?" John's like, it's black, red,
reddish."
Here's an interesting thing in that Aaron then immediately starts beating on Dargo's back.
Yeah, she just starts wailing at him.
And John's like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" This is interesting because we saw earlier that Aaron has no idea what Dargo's sword is. Doesn't know it's a gun sword. So you think, okay, she doesn't know much about Luxon's. But she knows Luxon first aid. It's a little inconsistent.
I can imagine that Luxon physiology, how they... because apparently the Luxon can't heal until the blood runs clear before we carry on with this.
And to make the blood run clear, you have to basically punch the wound really hard.
I think you actually need to worsen the wound. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
The healing apparently Luxons have some sort of healing factor that doesn't actually kick in until it's bad enough. That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, it's not explicitly stated, but the upshot of it is that you just have to punch the wound repeatedly until the blood runs clear.
Yeah, probably because it might be clogged with something or one another.
Basically, Luxon first aid is percussive maintenance.
Pretty much. It's like everything in Luxon culture, it's like just ram against it, just punch it,
just hit it really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aaron is just just wailing on his back, and Dargo's like, "No, harder! You need to hit it harder."
You wimp! You wimp! I didn't even feel that.
You call that breaking my spine?
My grandma Beric's spine's better than you.
And then they get a call from Zhaan. Zhaan calls down to John because they've been scanning for the ship, her and Pilot and Moya, the shuttle which has Rigel in it. They give the coordinates of the shuttle to John in this bizarre coordinate system that John does not understand.
It's sheer gibberish.
While saying it's 3 minutes away, or like it's taking off in 3 minutes. So this is a problem I have with this. It's taking off in 3 minutes. John and Aaron then spend about 1 minute deciphering where it actually is, because John doesn't understand the coordinate system, and then arguing about how they're going to get there.
Look, it's like a clock that doesn't tick as long as you don't look at it. It's like the clock on the big Doomsday device.
Wait, no, I've got it. It is D&D. Talking is a free action. That's the only explanation.
Figured it out. We figured it out.
There is a lot of similarities here. Something's going on. So yeah, basically neither Aaron nor Dargo are in shape to actually get there, and John won't be able to get there in time by himself. So he sticks the gauntlet on because everyone gets a turn.
He hasn't had its turn yet, damn it.
He sticks the gauntlet on and basically just books it through the forest.
Just starts running like crazy. Oh, actually, that brings something up. Was I seeing it correctly that all the plants are blue?
Yes. And I'm pretty sure all the plants were spray painted blue.
I was going to say, that's what it looked like.
Because in order to make the area look alien, the plants, they're blue. They're not color corrected afterwards, because I'm fairly sure I saw on a couple of scenes the back of one leaf, or a couple of leaves, which were green.
Which makes sense. The color of the leaf doesn't have to be the same on both sides, but
I'm reasonably sure that they just went through and sprayed or painted them all blue.
Kudos to the prop department, because that is a lot of plants they had to spray paint.
That must
also a lot of life they destroyed.
Yeah, I don't know if there's special kind of stuff for that, but it kind of...
Even provided that it's something that's not chemically dangerous to the plant, it is blocking out the light, which the leaves are absorbing to give plants nutrients, photosynthesis.
Maybe they clean them off afterwards. I don't know.
Might, actually, if it comes off with water, they could have done that actually.
So yeah, John has run all the way through the forest and has found Bakesh and the other Tavlex, and manages to ambush them and gets in a fight with the gauntlet.
Yeah, and he knocks out 3 guards.
Yeah, he's got in a standoff with Bakesh,
Yeah, and I like that Vikesh says, like, because you can see the guards still stirring, and he's like, "You didn't kill him.
You're a wimp."
Like, I'm probably not that type of guy. And I really love that because it shows that Zhaan is probably strong enough of character, at least good enough, to resist the urges that so much power brings. He's handling it responsibly.
He passed his will save.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is what's happening here. And then he proceeds to fail several bluff checks.
Because, first of all, the gauntlet runs out of juice.
So he tries to shoot, nothing happens.
Like, uh-oh.
Oh dear. And then he's like, alright, okay, Rigel is...
a mental patient.
A mental patient. Rigel's a mental
one.
patient. He's crazy. Meanwhile, Rigel is still in a bag complaining.
Yeah. And Vikesh is kicking him every time between sentences he speaks.
And he's like, okay, he's not crazy.
Yeah, Vikesh is like, no, he's not crazy.
He's like, he's contagious. He's got a very bad disease. You ever hear of chicken pox?
And I love that Rigel starts...
He actually starts coughing. And then that doesn't work.
Like, no, he's not sick.
Try me again. Try another one. And so then Zhaan actually just tells him the straight truth that Rigel is worthless and no one is going to come and pay for him. And we're escaped prisoners and we got nothing. We can't give you anything. You're wasting your time, basically. Mm-hmm. And he kind of believes this a little more. And then, I realized we skipped over one scene.
I noticed it as well.
Basically, back on Moya, the Tavlek boy had attempted to escape, and Zhaan basically overpowered him.
She's angry because when she went to scan the planet, he was like, yeah, fine, I'll find my way back to the cell. He was actually very cooperative in that way. But he actually uses that chance to try and escape. Actually, no, worse. He tries to get the drug. Because apparently they took samples, I'm expecting, from the stuff.
Yeah.
And Zhaan is pissed at this. Like, she's scary at this point.
She's terrifying because she easily overpowers him. And she says, like, I could break every bone in your body, basically.
I could rip your arm off right here. That
was it. And I was like, you know why I don't? It's like, because I'm trying to do the right thing. Like,
because I'm not your enemy. She crushes the injector right in her hand.
With her bare hands.
Rises it.
God damn. What the hell?
It's like, why is Dargo down there? Why is it not Zhaan?
It's like, don't piss Zhaan off. Jeez.
Holy shit.
And so she locks him back up again after nearly tearing his arm off.
Holy crap. I also really like that she says, I could tear your arm off, and I probably enjoy it.
It's like, oh, there are some layers here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more going on than meets the eye.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some history with Zhaan.
I wonder if that will come up later.
I'm expecting that to come up later, but not now. So the kid's back in his cell, so that happened before the scene we are currently, air quotes, in.
Because then Vikesh calls back to the ship because Zhaan says, hey, if you don't believe me, talk to your boy. And Zhaan goes to the boy's cell. And, they keep calling him a boy. He's basically an adult, but he's...
a boy to their culture.
Yeah, he's a young adult, if anything.
Very clearly.
And so she basically takes up the transmitter to him and is like... He confirms what Zhaan is saying. And then quite cunningly, Vikesh says, are they making you say this?
Yeah.
He's like, are they forcing you to say this? Have you been mistreated? And then the Tavlek boy basically very, very calmly, after looking at Zhaan, has a look between them. He says, no, I've been treated very well.
They've actually been helping me.
They've been helping you. He's like, with what? It's like, to get the thing off.
No, what I think he says is he asks why.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. What I really love is that Zhaan then cuts the transmission, and then she says, because I like to offer choices.
Mm. And that plays up the previous scene where she says, I could, in fact, I probably want to and would enjoy tearing your arm off right now, but I choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's clearly a very strong theme with Zhaan's character, that she chooses to be better than she thinks she is.
Yeah.
And so Vikesh returns Rigel, because he's like, well, this was a great waste of my time. And apparently decides that it's not even worth his time to kill the people who caused him all of this trouble. He's just like, you know what? Fine, have Rigel back. God, I don't care. Just like kicks
Please
Rigel.
take him off my hands.
Kicks Rigel across to Zhaan.
I mean, I do appreciate it. It's like, okay, fine, you take Rigel back. I'm assuming that he's doing that to get the boy back.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Like,
too.
okay, I'm hoping that's enough.
And he's also like 100% done with this crap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
because
enough.
John does actually say, how about we do a switch? We give you your boy back for Rigel.
So he picks Rigel up and is like, where's the crystal? And I really love this shot, by the way, because Rigel's now at about level height with John head-wise. And he's like, it's safe. Did you eat it?
It's like, yes.
It's like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
That's actually what I realized the moment it was gone from the scepter. I was like, oh shit, he ate it.
Yep.
Damn it, Rigel.
Yeah.
Mark that one on the list, by the way.
Alright, that's two.
That's
God
two.
damn it, Rigel, that's two. There we go. I also like this scene because this whole time, when you've seen John and Bikesh talking to each other, Rigel has been in a bag because that way they can pick him up and move him around without having to do some fancy camera work to make it look like, you know, there's an actual puppet in there.
Yeah.
And then they've got this very close-up, tightly cropped scene with John and Rigel, so that the puppetry can be done from out of shot.
And then he puts him back into the bag as he carries him back. So in the next scene, where he arrives at Dargo and Aaron, they don't get the same problem. And when Olaf is like, got him, and he falls over. Like, can we give credit to John here? He held out without that drug for a long time.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And then when he passes out directly on top of Rigel.
Which is just that he deserved that. Rigel deserved that.
Yep. And we go back to Moya. Everyone goes home to Moya, and we have a scene at the end of the episode, which is basically a queue for the toilet.
It's like, god damn it, crap it out, Rigel.
And Rigel's
come in here and help.
My
No, that's fine.
My favorite thing is not only do we have him saying like, "Oh, go away," you know, do you want to come in here and help? You also have the sounds of some straining and some just, and then a proper thud. Like,
No, actually, splush.
yeah, proper noise. Just like, oh, you know, you didn't have to show this scene, but
They had to add that scene there. I'm
but
so
well
glad. they did.
done.
Oh. And then he gives it to Erin, and she's like hesitant. It's like, I washed it. She picks it up, walks away. At least I think I did. And there's Erin from the back, just a moment, like she stops
And just
and then
keeps
keeps
walking.
walking.
He's like, no,
It's like-
no, do not engage. And then we basically end on a shit-eating grin from Rigel.
No. That's not where we end, actually. Also, mark
Wait
that
a
as
minute.
the third
All
one.
right, that's
for
three.
Goddamn
God,
It,
that's
Rigel.
3 this episode.
Yep.
Wow.
No, actually, the scene ends with Zhaan speaking
yes.
over the
Right,
intercom to
yeah,
the boy.
you're right.
And she asks, like, oh, I just wanted to know how you were doing. And she's like, much better now that I have this on. And he shows his gauntlet again. And what I do like that he says it was my choice.
So
And then it cuts out.
and then Zhaan is kind of a bit defeated and is just like, well, I tried.
Yeah, I really like that she didn't get through them.
Yeah.
Like, failure is sometimes more interesting than success in a story.
Yeah, and throughout her conversations with him, he kept saying that he didn't want to hear her sermons. And she's like, okay, no sermons, we'll just talk. And then she repeats at the end in a sort of solemn way of like, no sermons.
Yep. She likes to offer choices. Well, she offered a choice, and he still chose. He just chose not what she wanted.
Yeah, you can offer a choice, but you can't control what people will do.
No, you have to respect the choice, even if it's the one you don't want them to make.
Yeah.
I feel that's part of giving people choices. But let's not get into the whole philosophical end of that.
But yeah, that's where we end. And that's the episode. That's Thrown for a Loss. Alright, what do we think?
You lied to me. You said this was going to be a Rigel episode, and to be completely fair, though Rigel was a big part of it, I felt Rigel got the least character development.
I mean, he was in a prison cell for most of it.
That's true. Like, I would have hoped he got a bit of character development talking to Joseph.
But no, he comes out of it exactly the same old Rigel.
Yeah. Well, whereas Aaron and Dargo bond a bit more again.
Yeah, they have a bit more mutual respect.
Yeah, we learn a bit more about Zhaan.
Yeah, and we also start to see John step into a proper role as kind of a mediator and bringing all these people together.
Yeah, we learn that Zhaan is actually... we learn a lot about Zhaan.
She's a lot more complex than we've previously thought.
Yeah, like, there's a lot more... There's a dark part we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I guess things like sleeping guards aside, this was another good episode for character development. You know, they're getting a lot of that in the first 4 episodes.
It's good. I feel you need. I mean, like I've probably said before, for me, stories start and end with their characters.
Yeah, in other sci-fi shows, this could very easily have been much more heavy on the anti-drug PSA about the armbands and stuff. But that was just like a minor subplot to the rest of the episode.
Even if that were the case, then he wouldn't have gone back to the gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't end on a happy note. It's just like, nope, back on the drugs.
So, I'm gonna give it a 4, but only barely. For some reason, I didn't feel especially because Rigel didn't get a lot of character development. And there's a few other things that were. It gets a 4 out of 5, but only just.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that is the same score that FarscapeWorld.com gave it.
Oh.
Their official review was 4 out of 5, and the reader score averaged at 3.67. So, yeah. And here's the other thing about this episode. I'm going to bring this up again. This is the running order. This was episode 2 in the UK. Like, this was the second episode.
I think it would have worked as a second episode.
I think it's a little bit more effective since we've had more episodes of Zhaan, because having that reveal of her darker nature immediately, you're still only just getting to know the characters, so you're like, oh, okay, I know, right, straight away.
Also, Dargo rebelling has a bit more weight now that we've seen how they work together for a few episodes. It's a bit more. It feels more out of character.
Yeah, Dargo going off on his own and being like, I'm the captain now, after episode 1 is not that out of character.
No, but we've seen that he's not that bad of a guy in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, this makes way more sense as episode 4. But it wouldn't have been the worst episode 2, but I like it now that we've had a bit more time to get to know everyone. Again, I thought this was a good episode. I would probably take it down to about 3.5 out of 5. Okay. If only because the scene with... Everyone fell asleep, Red. Everyone fell asleep. It's nap time.
Okay.
Come on. At least make it a little difficult. At least have a little bit of sneaking around, not just like walk straight into the compound.
Yeah, it's a bit of disappointment, I'll admit that.
It's less Metal Gear and more like Don't Wake Dad. You know? But other than that, it was still a very good episode that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So there you go. I don't think we've had a really bad episode so far.
No, we haven't.
We're still only 4 episodes in, lots of time.
More than enough time for 1s and 2s.
But yes, we'll see where we go from here, because the next episode coming up is Back and Back to the Future.
Ah, I think I know what this is going to be about.
Oh, sorry, I misspoke. It's Back and Back and Back to the Future. You can probably, like you say, you can probably figure it out.
Yep. We'll talk about that next week.
It's your kids, John. Something's got to be done about your kids. But yes, we'll be back next week with episode 5. And thank you for listening. And this podcast is brought to you by listeners like you and supporters of the Can't Wear Hats Patreon, which supports this and my live streaming and all other projects that I am working on. Woo. And if you want to support that, that's patreon.com/can'twearhats, and you can check out the YouTube page for previous episodes, which is youtube.com/can'twearhats. There's also Twitter and Twitch, all under Can't Wear Hats for all my stuff. And Red, where can people find you?
They can find me on RedNightmare7 on Twitch. They can find me as Vidalkin Treehouse on YouTube. And they can find me as @VidalkinIn3 on Twitter, because screw having a consistent naming scheme.
Well, there you go. But yeah, that's where you can find all of us. And thank you everyone for listening. And actually, at the time of recording, we've had some feedback about the first episode. Yes. And I'm glad that everyone is enjoying it. People seem to be liking it. Yeah.
It's good to hear.
we're doing.
I'm really liking that. It's apparently hitting really well.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I'm proud of how it's doing so far, and can only get better from here because I'm still figuring this out. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's it from us this week. We'll see you again next week, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Hey, Hats, did you hear what they said about John in the tabloids?
The Tavlex. I didn't know they had their own newspaper.
What? No. Oh, British thing. Right, never mind.
Hmm?